What if I told you that the most recent company making headlines in the finance industry isn't some AI or crypto company? It's in this, blueberries. It's actually really good. Wow. This is Fruitist, and their jumbo blueberries just helped them close a $150 million financing round led by giant JP Morgan Asset Management. And all of this for a company that mainly sells blueberries. This funding round values Fruitist at over $1 billion, with the brand sold in over 12,500 retailers across North America and over 40 other countries around the world. Which leads us to the obvious question: how? It's not just the jumbo size of the berries, it's their consistency, it's their signature crunch, and it's their almost unnatural shelf life. As someone who's all about transparency and chemical-free produce, that's where my investigation begins. How does a berry grown in a special microclimate in Peru or Morocco end up in my fridge in the US and still stay fresh? Today we're doing a deep dive into the billion-dollar business model of Fruitist, and we're going to find out exactly what's making these berries stay fresh for so long. To understand Fruitist, you have to understand one thing. They're not like any other company selling berries. They're a high-tech consumer packaged goods, or CPG, company, and they just happen to own farms. They're attempting to turn berries, which are typically seen as a commodity, into a brand. And this has never really been done before. And the $150 million that they just raised isn't just some random bet. These investors aren't just investing in agriculture. They're investing in a company that's going after the $600 to $800 billion global snack market. Their mission is to prove that fruit, when done right, can actually compete with the snack aisle. The company's founder didn't grow up on a farm or have the typical background that you would expect from someone who founded a blueberry company. He actually has a background in private equity, and his founding mission was to solve a problem that we've all experienced, what he calls berry roulette. You know the gamble. You buy a $7 small box of blueberries at the grocery store, and you come home and you don't really know what you're gonna get. Few of them might already be moldy, some of them are crunchy and sweet, some of them are mushy, others are sour. The founding idea of Fruitist was to eliminate that uncertainty, to treat fruit like a CPG brand, and deliver a perfectly consistent, premium experience every single time. And to do that, Fruitist can't just buy blueberries from random farms. They have to control everything. And that's exactly what sets this company apart. It's almost fully vertically integrated, meaning that Fruitist owns its entire supply chain. The lead investor from JP Morgan said it himself. He invested because of Fruitist's control of its value chain and the moat that they've built around their business. That moat is the real product, and it's built on 3 high-tech pillars. Pillar number 1, genetics. This is not your average blueberry. Fruitist has partnerships for proprietary premium varietals. They're specifically bred for traits that CPG brands would care about. A jumbo size, a firmer texture, and that signature crunch. They've literally engineered the mushy out of the blueberries before they're even planted. Pillar number 2, global farms. How do you sell berries that are fresh 52 weeks out of the year? You can't if you only own one farm in Oregon. So Fruitist is building a global empire. The company, which started as AgroVision in 2012, now operates in at least 8 countries globally. They own farmland in ideal microclimates for growing their breeds of blueberries, from Peru to Mexico to Morocco and even Oregon in the US. When it's not growing season in the northern hemisphere, it is in the southern. So they've built a 52-week, year-round supply chain that they own from end to end. Pillar number 3, data. Fruitist uses its own proprietary AI algorithms trained on its own metadata. Their intelligence platforms process millions of data points from their global farms to deliver precise harvest timing. They don't guess when their blueberries are ready. Their AI systems literally tell them when to harvest in order to maximize peak flavor, crunch, and freshness. Okay, so they've got custom-bred super berries, global farms, and AI that tells them exactly when to harvest. But that still doesn't answer the question of freshness. How do they get berries from a farm in Peru or Morocco, ship them to somewhere like the US, and have it still be fresh? This is where I put my investigator hat on. My first suspect was an edible coating. The biggest and most controversial name in the game is Appeal Sciences. You may have heard of them. They apply an invisible second coating to fruit in order to slow down spoilage. A peel is a whole other side tangent that I could go down, and companies like Costco and Sprouts no longer sell produce that's being kept fresh with this method. So, is this the secret to Fruitist berries? Well, luckily for all of us, it's not. The real answer is actually much more interesting. Fruitist doesn't use a chemical process like I thought that they might to keep their berries fresh. They use a physical one. In 2024, Fruitist, which was still called Agrovision at the time, announced a partnership with a company called Ripe Locker. They've created patented low-atmosphere vacuum chambers that keep fruit fresh. Here's how it works. After those AI-perfected berries are picked, they're put directly into a storage unit that's attached to a Ripe Locker unit. The technology then puts the fruit to sleep because it puts the fruit into such a low oxygen environment that respiration slows and decay can't happen at its usual pace. This system can keep the berries fresh for up to 12 weeks, which is 3 times more than the norm. And it all connects. That $150 million of new funding, they've specifically stated that a huge chunk of it will go towards cold storage and automation for the company. Essentially, Fruitist's entire model is fourfold. First, engineer a better blueberry. Then, use AI to harvest it at its absolute peak. Then, rush it into a high-tech cold storage facility. And finally, put it to sleep in a Ripe Locker vacuum chamber for the duration of its journey to retailers. It's a deeply integrated billion-dollar system. Okay, so now it's time for the fun part, and I'm going to actually do a little taste test. As someone who grew up going to local blueberry farms to pick them, I would say that I'm as good a judge as any on this topic. I will say that I'm a little bit skeptical because when I was at the grocery store, I actually did see that some of the berries in the Fruitist package were a little bit moldy. So that has made me a little bit skeptical as to whether they're truly able to avoid this berry roulette or whether that's just something that's inherent with blueberries and going to be really hard to engineer out of them. These are the jumbo. I'm not gonna lie, a part of me was skeptical and didn't really want to like it, but that is really good. That is a top tier berry for sure. So those were the jumbo, and then these are just the regular blueberries. This has that same crunch, but this blueberry is much more sour than the other. And again, it leads me to this question of whether they're actually achieving what they're hoping to with avoiding berry roulette. The jumbo blueberry that I just ate was delicious. I loved it. But this blueberry was just too sour, and it wasn't something that I could tell from looking at the berry that it was going to be a sour one. So it seems that with my N of 1 experience, take it with a grain of salt, right now they just might not be hitting the mark for me. So what's next for Fruitist? They're not just stopping at blueberries. They're making long-term strategic decisions to set them up to take over the snack aisle. They've launched these snack cups, which are essentially a single-use grab-and-go version of blueberries designed to compete directly with things like a bag of chips. And they're marketing like a CPG brand. They've partnered with DC United and have other partnerships with sports stars like Caleb Williams. They're also expanding their moat to other products besides just blueberries, including raspberries, cherries, and blackberries. The company is also riding the wave of GLP-1 consumers' increased demand for berries, as well as just increased consumer demand for less processed foods. They also have plans to expand their direct-to-consumer offerings, although the CEO maintains that this probably won't ever be a major part of their revenue. All in all, Fruitist is a fascinating case study. They've taken something that has long been thought of as a commodity, berries, and turned it into a branded product. The jury's still out on whether or not this will ultimately be a huge success or change the snack or food industry in general, but so far they're having major success. The future of food, it seems, isn't just about what we grow. It's about the billion-dollar systems that we build to deliver it. And with massive amounts of funding, Fruitist has been able to accomplish what no other fruit company has: complete vertical integration. But what do you think? Have you tried Fruitist berries? Do you think that they live up to everything that they're claiming to be as a CPG brand? And what do you think of this high-tech, AI-driven approach to a natural product? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Wow, I did not think I was gonna get that. It was actually really good. I'm so proud of that.